costing you money. And my goal in this critique is to give you a quick overview so you can see what the problems are, and then I'll dive into your website. I'll show you what the problems are and I'll show you how you can fix them. So the first thing that's going on is that you guys have a brochure website, not a website that proactively sells. I'll talk about these in greater detail when I get into the actual critique. Number 2 is that you don't collect names and emails of your visitors. Number 3 is that you don't have headlines to capture interest quickly. Number 4 is that you don't have testimonials or social proof. Number 5 is that your design and navigation need to be improved, and I'll explain to you why. Number 6 is that your calls to action are weak. This is the biggest problem and missed opportunity on your website. Let's look at the website and figure out how we can fix some of these things. So, number 1 is that you have a brochure website, and this is going to be the theme of this critique. Now, the reason why a brochure website is an issue is that, typically 3% of visitors that come to a website are ready to buy now. So what we want to do is we want to be sure that we can sell as many of those 3% as possible, right? But 47% of the visitors statistically are going to buy over the next 18 months. So we need a way to communicate with those people right after they leave the site. And I'll show you how we can do that. So point number 2 after a brochure website is that in order to create a direct response website, we have to capture names and email addresses of visitors, right? That's a really important point. So I'll show how we can do that as we go on through the critique, right? So number 3 is that you don't have a headline to capture the visitors that come to your site really quickly. So now, marketing data shows that online, a website has about 4 seconds and about 7 inches, a specific area of the site in order to capture the visitor before they click the back button and go to the next search result or go to the competitor, right? So what I like to do is create a really powerful headline. A lot of times the business owner or the top salesman hold the buzzwords that are very powerful that they use on a daily basis that should be used on the website to sell these visitors or to capture the visitors. Now, I do see a potential headline here. If this is the essence of your business, right, and this is a lot of the key to what your customers are looking for is not having to run into problems with choosing the right fence contractor, in that a lot of times people have to go to more than one contractor, and you guys can give them that certainty, then maybe this is it. But I'm not sure. Like I said, the owner of the business or the top salesman usually have that key, right? So we want to capture their interest quickly by putting the headline up, the powerful headline that conveys the benefits to working with the company up in this spot right here. So then once they come in, we want to put social proof on the site, like genuine customer testimonials on the front page, right? So we grab their attention, then we overcome their objection, right? So typically after that, we're going to want to be sure that the copy is written in a way that is all oriented to the visitor, educating them to the benefits of doing business with California FENCE&SUPPLY, right? So the next thing that is on my list of things that are really causing problems is the design and navigation of the site, right? So some of the design issues are, in order to convert, as many of those visitors that are ready to buy now as possible, we need to give them, really clear, actionable things to do. You offer free estimates. You even have an online estimate thing that's great here, a form, but it's not clear. Like the first couple times I looked at your site, I didn't even see that. And it took me even longer to see this. So you might want to just put a design around here. You might want to change the color of here, make it bold, put it in the middle, put it at the top, or even up here. That can be really powerful. I mean, it will, there's more that you can do than that, but, my goal is to help, and those things would help, right? Even change the color, highlight this, put that headline up here. Those things can help. But to do a complete overhaul on your site is easy to do. And I think you can get a much more powerful design that conveys, how good your company really is. So the sixth point, and the most important point, the most important missed opportunity, really, is that you don't have strong calls to action, right? So the reason why calls to action are so important is because we want to call the people that come to your site to action and exchange valuable information or actions for their name and contact information. So there's 3 different calls to action that I like to use, right? The first one is request a callback, an immediate callback, or and that's pretty self-explanatory, right? Number 2 is free online quote, or get an online quote. You have that one, but I would just make it much more distinguishable, or noticeable. And the third one, which is really powerful, is you could create a document. Say you distill, or you can write a document that's basically 5 critical things to consider before buying a fence or a gate, right? Or when choosing who to buy a fence or a gate from. That may not be the right thing, but somewhere along those lines, a document that's really relevant, valuable to someone that's looking to buy a fence or a gate. And what you do is you offer it as a download. So they give you their name and email address for the download. And what that does is that gives you the ability to start sending relevant information to them over the 18 months where they're making their buying decision. And so the way that might work is they give you the information, you send them the first document, some really well-written things that they want to keep in mind when making that buying decision. And then the next email, maybe a day later, is, by the way, here's 2 more critical things to consider when buying a fence or a gate. Then maybe a week later they get a coupon in their email from you, and then maybe a month later another valuable email, and then after that maybe a free consultation, right? And then over the next 18 months your system is automatically emailing them in these set intervals, right? And that's a great way to get much more business online, because you're tapping into an enormous segment of customers that before you weren't even tapping into. So, I'm glad I have an opportunity to share this information with you. I think it can be really, really helpful, and hopefully I'm clear, in my explanation as to why. So the good news is that these are easy fixes. Obviously the bad news is that they're expensive and they should be fixed, for more, sales online. So you could go ahead and call me now, and I'm happy to sit with you and go through, a little bit more about your business to make a proper recommendation on exactly what the fixes could be and what that means to you. Typically, if someone asks me to sit with them and fix their marketing system, I charge for that. But, I'd be more than happy to help them. And my number one goal is to, make these issues and these missed opportunities clear to you and help you understand how they can be fixed. And if I can do that, I've succeeded. I'd love the opportunity to earn the business, but ultimately, that's my goal, and I ended up getting plenty of business, by doing that anyway. So I hope I get a chance to meet you soon, and thanks for taking the time to listen.